Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ.com recap of NXT 2.0 for September the 28th, 2021. Shout out to everybody watching, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support as always. Let's go ahead and get to this NXT recap. We kicked off the show, NXT 2.0. If I can scroll up here, we kicked off the show with the ladies. B-Fab representing Hit Row versus Elektra Lopez representing Legado del Fantasma. This was a no DQ match. You guys know I like that. They cut a promo, Hit Row did, before the match. Gave a shout out to all the women. They plugged the show. Plugged the various matches, Raquel Gonzalez versus Frankie Monet for the women's title, the women's tag team title match. Swerve made a joke about not defending his North American title, which is true. He has a lack of title defenses since winning it. A fight broke out between the two factions, and after the commercial break, we got the factions out of the way, and we had our match. Weapons were involved in a no DQ match, as you would expect. The usual suspects, the kendo sticks, the chairs. Pretty short match here. Lopez hit a crossbody. You had B-Fab sitting on the chair, and the chair broke. And then Elektra picked up the win with a sit-down powerbomb. Pretty decisive win. Yeah, you had the factions fighting at the beginning, but other than that, no interference. And there's been talk about maybe having Hit Row go up to the main roster. And, well, this could be a clue as to what the future is. I guess we'll find out. We got the draft coming up. Hit Row could end up on Raw or Smackdown in the near future. Would not shock me, since they come off as like a main roster act, more about the entertainment, although they can go too. And Elektra Lopez continuing to look impressive. She picks up momentum. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, who has more potential, B-Fab or Elektra Lopez? Good question. It might be too early to call, but I'm really liking Elektra Lopez so far. And I definitely think there is potential with her. Same thing with B-Fab. We'll have to see how they do on the main roster, if they are in fact going to the main roster soon. But right now, I do think it's a bit too early to really make any kind of a prediction on that one. We had some honeymoon footage. Dexter Lumis and his new bride, Indy Hartwell, on the beach. Looking pretty good. And Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, they were not far behind. They were spying from a hotel room. Johnny had some binoculars, and they were watching very closely. And Johnny decided to pull a little prank on them. He put on a shark fin, went in the water, and scared Dexter and Indy away. We then had the ring announcer say, ladies and gentlemen, not Elias, but Joe Gacy. He is back. Last week, WWE removed social media references to him because there were some sites that were saying that Joe Gacy is making a parody of the far left. And Gacy cut a promo here saying, contrary to popular opinion, this is still our safe space. He said he has not been canceled. He speaks for a generation that nobody understands, except for the enlightened ones. I don't really care about this character. I have little to no interest in this character so far. Maybe it'll turn around for me, but right now, I ain't feeling it. Looking at the chat room, Joey Perez says, keep the politics out of wrestling. Well, you know, they're trying to be edgier with NXT now, which could be why they're doing this. Mohammed, shout out to him. He says he hopes everyone is doing well. We had Zion Quinn up against One Lorcan. Pretty much a squash match here. Not much to say about it. Quinn picked up an easy victory. And then we had MSK come to the ring for a promo. And they said they're going to keep smoking the tag team division. And we had one of these main roster type segments with several tag teams coming down one at a time, each vowing to win the titles, blah, 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 yada, 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 as Joe Costanza would say. The veterans said they want their opportunity. Carmelo and Trick came out talking about wanting an opportunity, and the veterans said the line starts behind them. We then had Briggs and Jensen interrupt as well, and then of course the standard brawl, everybody fights. MSK did some dives, whatever. I'm not a big fan of these segments, to be totally honest with you guys. Kurapika07 says, who should beat MSK? I mean, maybe Carmelo and Trick, but yeah, I'm not sure at this point. Maybe keep it on MSK for a while and see if one of these other teams can build up some momentum first. We had the NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the line. We had the tag champs Io Shirai and Zoe Stark defending against JC and Gigi. Pretty decent match here between the ladies. Shirai and Stark had a hot opening. Shirai did a moonsault to the outside on JC and Gigi, and after the commercial break, the heels got the upper hand for a while. Io made a hot tag, put on a double submission, but Mandy Rose, the leader of the, the Fatal Attraction? What do they call themselves? I'm not even sure their name, the something attraction. Mandy put her foot on the rope, and despite that, Stark was able to take out Gigi, and then Shirai hit her moonsault, picked up the win to pin JC. Toxic Attraction, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, Toxic something, Toxic Avenger, Fatal Attraction, Toxic Attraction, whatever. We had the highlight of the show, for me at least, Bron Breakker video package. Anytime Bron Breakker talks, I'm listening. He said his goal is to be the NXT champion. He's not there to make friends. He doesn't give a shit about making friends. And he used that word specifically. He said, if you want a friend, go out and get a dog. Maybe that was a little reference to his dad, but I liked this little video package. And then we had Tommaso Ciampa interviewed. He praised Bron Breakker, said, with that being said, maybe it's a little too early to start saying Bron Breakker is a Hall of Famer. Ciampa said it took him 908 days to win his Goldie back, and nobody beat him for that title, and nobody will now. Fun stuff here. Looking forward to this eventual match between these guys. Johnny Boy says this dude is gold. I agree. I'm loving Bron Breakker. I just, like I said the other weeks, wish he would be a Steiner. Just my own opinion. Only thing I would change about him right now. Otherwise, I think he's doing great stuff so far. We had Andre Chase versus Boa, and Mei Ying was out at ringside. Not really digging Andre Chase's gimmick. It's like kind of similar to Chris Nowinski in a way. Like, just not a fan of that gimmick. The college student with the jersey or the sweater, whatever. Just not my thing. And he was throwing a little bit of a fit. This guy seems to have some anger issues. And he went to the outside of the ring, and Mei Ying spit some substance in his face. And then Boa picked up the win. So, there you go. Not much to say about it. Just not really getting into the Andre Chase. Some of these new acts are working, like Bron Breakker, but others, Andre Chase and the Joe Gacy gimmick. Not really digging too much. We had some more honeymoon footage, another highlight of the show with Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell. And Gargano ended up sneaking into their room, and he looked through their luggage, and there was like 50 condoms, like a whole giant pack of condoms, and he hid in the closet, and that's when Dexter and Indy got on the bed, and the magic happened. The magic was a pillow fight. They hit each other with pillows, and then they were worn out from this action, and they cuddled. And Dexter woke up as Gargano was trying to leave, and Dexter just gave him the thumbs up while holding up the condoms, and Gargano just gave a little thumbs up back to Dexter Lumis. So fun stuff here. I enjoyed it. Entertaining stuff from these guys. Very goofy, but I found it to be entertaining. Dwayne Atkinson with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Dwayne. Says, who will win the NXT title first, Kyle O'Reilly or Bron Breakker? Probably Bron Breakker at this point. I don't think Kyle O'Reilly is going to win the title. Highly unlikely in all likelihood, but I think Bron Breakker, I think Breakker might end up on the main roster by the spring. After WrestleMania, I could see that happening. He might have a short run in NXT, so get the title on him relatively soon. I don't know if he's going to win it right away from Ciampa, but I could see him getting it by the end of the year, maybe early 2022. Moving on here, we had Roderick Strong versus Grayson Waller. Pretty decent showing here from Waller, getting an opportunity at the title. First big title match here for him. And he actually jumped Strong. Strong was looking towards the stage, and Waller came in, attacked him. Match went back and forth. They traded some near falls. Waller showed off some of his athleticism, did a missile drop kick, and did a dive over the top, and then ran back in the ring, hit a stunner, but Strong was able to kick out of that. Crowd was chanting that was 3, but that was not enough to put away Roderick Strong, the champ. Strong hit the knee strike, knocking out Waller and picking up the 1-2-3 victory to retain his championship. Darren says this match was awesome. It was really solid, and Strong and his crew, the Diamond Mine, held up the flag when the match was over. Maybe Waller will have another shot sometime down the line. We had an LA Knight promo. He will be facing Odyssey Jones on next week's show, and Odyssey confronted Knight. And then all of a sudden, randomly, Andre Chase showed up saying this is bullshit. 2 shits on this show. What is this, AEW Dynamite? What's going on here? And when he was complaining, Knight jumped Odyssey, laid him out, and of course that's setting up next week's show. Still wondering if LA Knight's going to be one of those guys that gets drafted over to Raw or Smackdown. Just seems like there's no reason for him to be in NXT. Dwayne Atkinson with the $2 super chat. Thank you, Dwayne. Says, Hit Row needs to host next year's WrestleMania. Yeah, they might. And if they come in as heels, they could feud with the New Day. They could feud with any number of guys in WWE. Maybe they could even take on the Bloodline at some point, I'm very curious to see if they get called up soon, because they definitely seem like an act that would be appealing to your more casual fans. We had Cora Jade cut a promo with her boy toy, Trey Baxter. She talked about how she's only 20 years old. She's excited for the future. Then we had a segment from Lash Legend, and there was a studio audience. It was called Lashing Out with Lash Legend. And she basically gloated about her basketball accomplishments, said if Cora Jade wants a real man, get someone who looks like Ike Manjiro. And then she mocked Andre Chase. Segment was okay. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was just, little skit for her to try and build up her character. But didn't really stand out to me as something that strikes me as having potential for her in the future, but we'll see. And Joey Perez says, how many talk segments in wrestling? Quite a few. There are definitely more than I can count. We had Ridge Holland along with Pete Dunne come into the ring for a match, Ridge Holland versus Kyle O'Reilly, but O'Reilly jumped both of them. Referees had to come down, and after the commercial break, we had our match, and Holland just kept beating down O'Reilly, giving him a lot of punishment, but eventually O'Reilly was able to make a comeback. He tried to take the bigger man down, and that's when Pete Dunne got on the apron, but no stupid babyface. Kyle O'Reilly managed to turn the tables in his favor, and Holland got knocked into Dunne, who fell off the apron, and then O'Reilly scored the pinfall, but was immediately attacked. Right when the bell rang, both Holland and Dunne beat him down, and Von Wagner made the save. Yes, Von Wagner, who we saw 2 weeks ago in the title match, he ran down to make the save for O'Reilly, and he cleaned house. Psycho Jet Black says, where is Scarlett? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm still holding out hope he'll be with Karrion Kross, but man, I don't know. It feels like they're moving in a different direction with that. But congratulations to her and Karrion on getting engaged. Happy for them. We had another promo from Tony D'Angelo and talking more mafia stuff, being at the docks and family tradition, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And the gist of this is that he's apparently going to be in action on next week's show. So we'll see what he's all about. We then had our main event, Raquel Gonzalez defending her championship against Frankie Monet. Johnny Boy sent in a $2 super chat, says, will you be doing draft picks on the review? We'll probably do something regarding the draft to hype it up and give some final predictions. I think there'll be some coverage of that on Thursday, but then again, I'm not sure what Virtue has up his sleeve. You never know. Dwayne Atkinson with a $2 super chat says, does Holland remind you of Big Vito in a way? LOL. Not particularly. Like, I feel like Tony D'Angelo's gimmick kind of has the Vito vibes, you know, the tough guy, kind of has the mafia ties sort of thing. We had Frankie Monet against Raquel Gonzalez. Good main event here from the ladies. Raquel got the early upper hand, but Frankie was just laughing at her. Frankie slapped Raquel, and then Raquel went to work. Fallaway slam, which sent Frankie to the outside. Frankie was able to get the upper hand, though, when she dropped Raquel back first on the outside of the ring on the mat, and eventually Raquel made a comeback. However, at first, she could not hit her one-arm power bomb, but she was able to get it together, hit the move, picked up the win to retain her championship. And then after the match, the Toxic Attraction faction arrived, and they beat up the Robert Stone brand. Then they got in the ring, surrounded Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel tried to fight them off, but the numbers game caught up with them, and Raquel got beat down. Earlier in the show, they walked past Raquel as Raquel was cutting a promo, and to me that kind of gave away the main event. You know, they were teasing Mandy Rose versus Raquel before Raquel was coming out there for a title match. Anyways, Mandy held up the championship, so I guess she'll be next in line for the title. I don't think she'll be winning the title, but you never know. Raquel is another one of those people that are rumored to be going to the main roster, so I suppose it's a possibility. You know, I definitely think Raquel will be on her way sooner than later. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, Nunzio should come back and be Tony's manager. Wasn't the biggest Nunzio fan, to be totally honest with you. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat says, hey Aaron, missed NXT, but had to be here for the review. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Walter. I appreciate it. And maybe Walter will be joining us on a future video, whether it's the No DQ review or maybe for the Crown Jewel predictions, which that's going to be a fun one. TJS with a $5 super chat. He says, if you drive a car, he'll tax the street. If you try to sit down, he'll tax your seat. If you get too cold, he'll tax the heat. And if you take a walk, he'll tax your feet. He is the tax man. Thank you for that, TJS. I appreciate that random ass super chat that's not wrestling related, but thank you nonetheless. All right, so let's do the letter grade for NXT. It was not bad. Not a show that you really had to go out of your way to see, though. I will give it better than a C, though. I will give it a B-. Fairly good, but wasn't something that really was going to get me hooked to keep watching. Like, if I was on the fence about NXT and I watched this show, I'd probably be like, yeah, it's good, but it's like the 5th most important show of the week at this point. Let's see what you guys thought. 24% A, 57% B, falls in line with my B-, 11% C, and 8% with a D. Israel Diaz, Johnny Boy, give it a B. So does Joey Perez. TJS with a B-. And CC Drink gave it a B+. And Mohammed, a little bit lower than the others, with a C+. That was NXT, everybody. We got AEW Dynamite coming up. We got the No DQ review. We got the draft. And yeah, Thursday night, I'm sure we'll talk about the draft, give some last-minute predictions for that. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight, though. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest news and rumors. Take care, everybody, and I will see you all next time.